Hi everyone, this is Halak again. This time around, I'm going to continue with our previous video lecture or tutorial on arithmetic, and here I have, this is where I left off from last time. Okay, and last time I only talked about addition. There's other operators as well. So for example, in terms of precedence, or order of operations, multiply. I don't get the multiply is also an asterisk. Don't get that mixed up with the comments. And then we have divide, forward slash, and then we have what we call the mod operator. This is to get the remainder when you divide two numbers. Okay, so that comes first. And of course, it'll be subtraction and addition. Okay, so those are the precedents. So okay. So with multiplication and subtraction is very similar to addition, so I'm not going to really cover that. Okay, so I'm going to cover divide and the mod first. So the sum doesn't really make sense. So I really want to change this, right? We can do it the really old-fashioned way and just find the name and then replace them, right? But you can use the power of Eclipse. So you right click on the actual variable name and go to Refactor and Rename. You notice that there's a box that surrounds it. So you notice when I type everything, everywhere where there's a variable, it changes, right? So I'm just going to call it by generic name. Let's call it result. Okay. So now we're going to change this to division. Okay. So let's try running it. First. Launching. Wow, it's really slow today. Okay, so down here, if I go 4 divided by 2, so I get 2. Okay, so this is straightforward. A larger number divided by a smaller number. I forgot to change this. This is actually divide. Okay, so that's what we have. Now, what would happen if I actually did the other way? So let's just say 1 divided by 2. All right, and surprisingly, you notice that is zero, right? So this would be 0.5. The reason being is that when you actually do the division with two integers, a truncation occurs. So everything that's after the decimal point gets eliminated or truncated. Okay, so if we actually want to keep the result, we have to do a few changes. Okay, because a decimal with a decimal number, it's not an int type, it's actually a float or a double type. So I'm just going to go double. Because in scientific computing, it's always double, right, for better precision. Okay, so now if I come down here, I have to make sure that this is also changed, right? It's no longer an int, so do an F, right, for real numbers. Okay, so now if we actually run it, right? Let's see what happens. I'll just save it first. Let me save it and run it. It's really slow today. So 1 divided by 2. Okay, and we still get a 0, right? And what I said earlier, when this operation occurs, it truncates, right? So for us to actually avoid this, we have to cast one of these into a double. Okay. So 1 will become 1.0, for example. Right? We could do this, or we could just as easily do this as well. As long as you cast one of the numbers. So 1, 2, and there we get the 0.5. Okay, and so that works. All right, so that's division. Now let's try the mod operator. Okay, so I'm going to change this back. Maybe I should have started with the mod operator instead. Again, recall the mod operator is to get the remainder. Okay, the remainder. All right, so that's what we have now. Well, let's see. Well, I have to change this first. Okay, so if I do, let's say 7, right, mod 4, Well, not surprisingly, we get a problem with the formatting, right? And, okay, so the formatting, legal exception. Okay, so here the formatting is actually the problem is actually here. Okay, this because remember the percent is actually a special character now, right? You may think that um, that by doing this it will work, right? But you notice that all this doesn't work. Okay, escape characters. The only valid ones are the ones highlighted here, right? So to actually get this to work, you need to add another percent sign. Okay, this is just to work how you would actually handle percent printouts. So let's run it again. 7, 4. All right. So yeah, so the remainder for when you divide 7 by 4 is 3. Right. So if I run it again and say 9 and 2. Okay, so you have 1, right? And of course you have 4 divided by 2 would be 0. Okay, so that's how you would use the mod operator. Okay, so I'm going to end it here because I don't want to go too long. Okay, all right. So see you in the next video lecture then, or tutorial. Thank you for listening.